Alrighty, everyone. Welcome into Oglethorpe Outlook here on the SDH Network. I'm Madison Crews, and joined with me is Oglethorpe Women's Soccer's Grace Elsevier. Grace, how are you doing today?
Good, how are you?
Doing well. So I want to talk a little bit about your journey to Oglethorpe so far. So you were actually a part of Birmingham Southern before you came to Oglethorpe. How hard
Yes.
was it to end your time there?
It was rough as it was not a planned transition with the school shutting down. And we knew about it for a while. Like freshman year, we heard some rumors and stuff. But the time that it actually shut down, that was a big surprise towards the end of the year. And it was a hard transition, but Oglethorpe's been great, like very accommodating and welcoming. It's been a good transition.
How did it come to get this move to Oglethorpe? How did it all come together for you?
So Coach King actually contacted me like right after the school closing, and I had gotten multiple emails from older coaches, but hadn't really reached out to anyone, but decided to call with him one day. And everything from that first call was just super welcoming and super like he really wanted me, and I just felt really welcome to the team. And it was just a very welcoming environment, and I just got a really good feeling from it. So, yeah.
I love it. I love it. I mean, because it's such an interesting it's so interesting because it's so different than I think from what other people experience, you know. Some
Mhm.
people will go to a different college, but then they go and transfer. For you, it was just like a, hey, this is happening and now you are forced to move.
It definitely took a while. I was not prepared for it at all. Never thought about it. But it's been a good transition. Like I have been happy with I am now, and I'm glad it happened. Everything happens for a reason, I think. So yeah.
Absolutely. And I want to talk to I've talked to Rob a little bit about you
Mm.
and Catherine specifically, both of you guys being the goalkeepers for Oglethorpe. How has that relationship kind of blossomed, especially with both of you guys kind of taking turns being in goal for some games?
It's been good. I love getting no keepers. Like, we're in it together, working to make each other better every day in practice. It's been good. We both are very competitive people, and we love to work hard in practice and stuff to make each other better. And it's been a really great partnership and together.
Has it been cool kind of bouncing off ideas with each other or bouncing off certain like tactics and different things with her?
Yeah, it has. Like every team has differences, and it's been cool like coming into a different program, seeing how they play a little bit of a different style than we have, just seeing how her experiences in the past have been able to help like shape me and vice versa. So it's been awesome.
What would you say is your goalkeeping style?
I'd say I can come out and be aggressive when needed, but I know the right times to stay in, and I feel like I'm a very composed keeper. Like I kind of know what to do at the right times and stuff. And I just organize my team and make sure everything's going smoothly, play my game, and just not worry too much and let the game go.
It's so interesting getting to watch you in goal a little bit. A lot of the shots that you've saved are like absolute, I think, could be golossos. Like, what's going through your mind when you see a goal, a shot like that coming at you?
Honestly, not much. Like, I don't really think during games. Like, I kind of like zone everything out. Like, I do not hear anything like on the sidelines or anything. I'm just so like locked in during a game and zone everything out. And I'm just kind of like my mom all growing up has told me like it's your castle, like you're the queen, protect your castle. So I'm kind of like that mindset, like gotta protect my castle. If anything's going in goal, it has to get by me first. So I kind of just, you can't worry during game. You can't think about it too much, or you can get in your head and just kind of play your game, get in the zone, take it one step at a time.
I love that. I love that. Like, protect the castle. I love that
Hmm.
analogy. I think that's so cool. That's so cool.
Yeah.
I want to talk a little bit about this season so far for Oglethorpe. You know, you guys are
Mhm.
coming off of a nil-nil tie to Hendricks on senior day. How does a result like that help you guys going in to the rest of the schedule for you?
You know, that game was frustrating at times, but we got a lot out of it. Like, I think we definitely should have won. We should have finished at times. We had some great opportunities. But the fact that we ended up getting a shutout was huge. We needed that little confidence boost. And it's frustrating. I think a lot of girls are really eager to score. And I think we it was a positive that we tied, but at the same time, we should have gotten a lot more out of it. So I think everyone going into the next few games, kind of like we're ready to score. We have potential. We see it building back up, and we're just ready to take it out on these next few games.
In watching that game too, like it felt like there was a lot of opportunities for you guys to come away with it. And there's a couple of shots too where I was like, oh, that was so close. But to get the shutout, I agree with you. I think it's a really good confidence. But you kind of sitting back a little bit, what is it like for you to sit back and watch all of that play out? Because you're kind of stuck back there behind goal, but how different is it to see a different perspective?
I love watching the games from goal. It's so much more fun than like on the sidelines, and like it's like you see it and you're ready. Like the amount of times I would just see the build up, like it starts for me a lot of the times, or back line, and we just slowly see the progression of us building up, and it's really cool to see like when we get attempts. Like I'll be like, you can't really see it like on the video, but like during games I'll get like so excited, like if we ever have a shot, like I'll start jumping up and down, like get so excited. And it's really fun to see like the progress we've made of like getting up, and hopefully haven't been able to finish in that game, but you see the potential, you see the opportunities. Like that keeper did come out and make a few good saves, but we had some good opportunities, and I'm just excited to see like the progress we can make from here to end up hopefully finishing some in these next few games.
And speaking of which, my last question for you, got Millsaps coming up on Sunday, a road trip. The rest of your games are on the road. What has it been like in training this week leading up to that road trip?
We all kind of know like we're able to settle in this week and have some opportunities to score on Sunday, and we were able to hold them, which is well. I think we've got really strong defense, and we just need to make that final click of finishing. We're getting up to the field, we're getting opportunities, but I think this week our main focus is finishing and seeing if we can finish in these games. And that's really going to be the deal breaker of how many goals we can score compared to the other teams, how we can finish. And I think as long as we work this weekend finishing and building up, and hopefully we can execute in these next few games, I think we're good.
It's interesting. You guys have had a lot of games this season that have been pretty back to back. You'll have a game Tuesday, then you have a game Friday, or you have a game Friday, then you have a game Sunday. What was it like to have a kind of almost a full week to get to like reset and then get prepared for this upcoming game?
I think it's good for everybody. I mean, we had a little break off of soccer for fall break, which was nice because we had a couple hard games back to back, which was brutal. It was a lot, but I think it's good we had a break and just have a week to just focus training and not do so much like light work recovery, and then bounce back into a game where we can really go full hard for these next few days to really prepare and focus on these last key things that we need to finish to build up for these next few games.
Awesome. Well, Grace, thank you so much for taking the time.
Of course.
All right, everyone, welcome back to Oglethorpe Outlook. I am joined with Oglethorpe men's soccer's JP Devine. JP, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
Let's go ahead and let's talk about the last couple of games for you guys. That loss against Rhodes, 1-0, and then getting that 0-0 tie against Hendricks. What were some of the biggest takeaways for you guys in those two games?
Yeah. Obviously, previously before those two games, we were kind of enjoying our little streak there. So we knew Rhodes, and a result would have been huge, a win ideally, but sometimes those things, those bounces don't go your way. And I think just the message to the team is that we can still learn from those moments. We've had a lot of progress this season, and it hasn't just been, just an upwards line. So you go through your ups and downs in the season, and we've had those kind of ups and downs this weekend with the loss and a draw that, to be honest, kind of felt more like a loss. So now it's time, next two games to focus on one game at a time, and hopefully we can put in some two really quality performances and finish out the season strong with 2 wins.
And even looking at those two games too, it felt like something just wasn't clicking. What do you think has been missing since those first couple wins in conference play?
Yeah, I think maybe just a little bit lack of quality was kind of just the message to the team. A lot of our patterns stayed the same, but it's just a lot of those final touches, final balls in the attacking third. It just wasn't quite there. We had some good moments. Second half against Rhodes was pretty quality. We just didn't put the ball in the back of the net at the end of the day, and started a little slow on a senior day against Hendricks. And to their credit, they put in shift. They worked very hard. So I think it's just this week I practice just finding that quality again. Trusting our teammates, and we're putting in some good game plans heading into this next game against Millsaps, and then we're just taking it one game at a time.
I will say I want to touch a little bit on your game in particular. You and Nico had kind of been that really solidified point in the midfield for you guys. Is there which type of player do you like to emulate your game after?
Yes, I would say a player like Federico Valverde at Real Madrid and Rodrigo de Paul at Atletico Madrid. They're players that cover a lot of ground, win a lot of 50-50 balls, and can cover a lot of different positions. So I know that's kind of my game. And when I watch those players on the television or live, even those are the two players that kind of stick out to me.
Absolutely. And looking at you guys, talking to Jason as well, it's clear you guys have a great connection off the field. How has that helped you guys in finding a little bit more of that connection on the field?
Yeah. Obviously, there's a large senior class, senior day. It was kind of fun to hear all the names announced. Yep. I think obviously a lot of us came from different schools, different locations all over the country. So, anywhere from the beginning of August with captain's practice, and then in preseason, I was kind of surprised how quickly we all kind of gelled together. And that connection off the field, it's so funny to kind of look at the team dynamics and looking at all the players that are kind of hanging out before and after practice. It usually changes quite a bit with a lot of new guys and some returners as well. So the team's very close, and we do a lot of kind of team bonding kind of exercise before practice as well. And there's been a few laughs here and there for sure. So I think that's helped on the field for sure. And I think it will continue to help, when you look at a game like against Hendricks, when it's 0-0, and, that's a very realistic conference game, a game that, we're going to play a game similar type of team in the conference tournament. It's in those moments where you kind of need your team chemistry and leadership to kind of pull through to hopefully once the tournament play starts, we need those moments to put one in the back of the net and survive and advance at that point. And usually the team, I've seen it firsthand with a number of schools that have been successful on the national stage. It's these teams have very good team culture and chemistry, and it's in those moments where you start seeing the success on the field.
Absolutely. And as we get a little closer, your last two games in conference play are on the road. You guys have Millsaps first coming up this Sunday. What are some things that they do really well that you guys are going to be looking out for, especially as you head on the road trip?
Yeah. They're gonna be a team that is probably isn't going to be too aggressive in the sense of trying to go out there and on the front foot of the game, trying to press. Especially, I think they'll be coming off a game. I forget against who, but a game on Friday too. So they're going to be a little bit more fatigued. So with us, it's really about starting strong on the front foot. See if we can create a couple of chances very early into the game. I think they're going to be solid at the back. That I assume they're going to stick with their five across the back, which is always hard to break down. So that's just some things that we're kind of expecting, but they're a team that can score some goals on the counter, and they, any team in this conference can be dangerous on the counter attack. And if you let them back in the game with kind of self-inflicted mistakes. So we're just going to have to be sharp and trust our quality, and that's something we've had to already since the weekend. Two really great practices, and we're starting to find our quality again. And we're getting some guys back from injury, back from suspension. So I think those guys will play an important role as well.
And speaking of that, it's been such a weird season, especially with the switching of players. I believe you guys have only had, 3 players start every game. So how do you think is everything kind of being put back together, especially with getting a lot of those guys back and being a little bit more of a fuller team?
Yeah, for sure. We knew going into the season that we had a very talented roster and a very deep roster. Usually you don't kind of find those two things kind of that go hand in hand. So we knew we were very fortunate with the talent and the depth that we have, and in a lot of games this year that has paid dividends. I think some players in the back and offensively as well. We missed on the weekend. It really is that kind of next man up, and I think those players did great in their role, and that's just a theme that is going to continue to kind of be expressed throughout the season. And I think it just we're starting to get them back in practice as well, and starting to go back to the basics. And those players, and specifically, I think they're doing an amazing job, kind of coming back in the team with the right attitude, with the right quality, and we're all just kind of making each other better in practice, which has been really fun to see.
Last question as well. It's weird because you guys have had a season where it's been pretty back to back with some of your games. Some of your games are Tuesday, you have a Friday game. Then this past weekend, you guys had Rhodes Friday, then immediately Hendricks Sunday. Has it been nice to have a little bit of that break to get to recharge a little bit, or do you prefer a week where you do have those back to back games and you're able to stay a little bit more fresher?
Yeah, there's definitely pros and cons to both. Obviously, it's more realistic to have those games back to back, because that's exactly what you're going to experience later on in the season, whether it's the conference tournament or, God willing, the national tournament as well. Even at my previous school, we would schedule a game, Saturday, Sunday, kind of in the middle end of the season to prepare ourselves for a national tournament weekend, those first, second rounds. So we definitely have those games under our belts with those back-to-back games, but obviously it was kind of starting to pile up there in the middle end of the season. So now being able to kind of recharge, we kind of got 2 days off as well to kind of recharge our minds as well. I know, well, even with school too, midterms was kind of this past week, so I think that break was much needed, and I think the guys took advantage of it as well. Just again, the last two practices that we had, you could tell that something's changed, and something kind of clicked in our minds. It wasn't the weekend that we hoped to have, and we're trying to, kind of make up for it with these next two games.
Awesome. Well, JP, thank you so much again for taking the time. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, of course. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you.